Becoming Niners Weekly. This is the first summer edition for the summer of 2023. I am Nick, joined by Kevin.
What's up, Niner Nation?
Producer Brad.
Hey, hey.
And sitting in for a little bit with us is Coach Woody. What's up, Coach Woody?
Hey, everybody.
Dang, here we are. It's the off season, man. This group has not been. This is news team, and we have not been assembled since the season ended. What in the world do you guys do when we're not in season? Kevin, you've been playing. You've been doing the baseball thing, right?
Yeah, travel ball circuit. We did the Little Niners camp also. I had a great time. Kids had a great time. But yeah, lots of baseball. We just ended up our season for the summer. So 2 weeks off and then fall season.
Yeah. So your off season's almost as long as Woody's. Now, Brad, we were just talking about this before we started recording. I honest to goodness have not laid eyes on you since the season ended. What's going on, dude? What have you been up to?
Just enjoying the summer, I guess. Not a lot. I'm a pretty boring person, just working, and it's actually the quiet part of the quiet season of my job right now because everybody goes on vacations, and there's not a lot going on. So quiet time for me.
Nice. So. Now, I know what you're going to say, Coach. You don't have an off season, but what's been going on?
Yeah, no, I mean, just it's good to be back and talking Niner baseball again. And I mean, just this day and age with the way the season and the calendar year works, it's like as soon as the season ends, you get back to Charlotte. It's we met with the team. We had breakfast at Cracker Barrel in Clemson, took the bus back, just listened to some quality music on the bus ride home, and pulled back into campus and met with the team in the dugout one last time, and shared a video that our marketing team had put together with some highlights from the last few weeks of the season, and then everybody just kind of said a few words and lots of hugs, and some guys went out and patted the 2023s on the outfield wall, and then here comes summer, and guys getting ready to get drafted, guys going out to play summer ball, guys training here to get ready for the fall. Got about 10 guys training this summer here on campus with Coach McKibben. And then, just recruiting and rebuilding the next team.
Yeah, I know there's not a whole lot of breaks for you guys in that year-round schedule. So we'll be talking about what you've been working on this summer a lot in the coming months, I know. So a couple news and notes, Kevin. I was just thinking about this, some stuff to put out there. First of all, I talked to a dear friend of the show, former squad mom Angie Elwood, earlier today, and she had been in contact with Paul Buchanan, also known as Guy. And if you've been around the Hayes for any length of time, you probably know who Guy is. And if you don't know who Guy is, you probably haven't really been to the Hayes. Paul had some surgery. He had a brain tumor removed this week. And so there was a lot of, anytime you're talking about operating on your brain, very serious stuff. He is the operation sounds like it went as well as could be expected. In fact, he is recovering at home. So Paul was feeling well enough to talk to Angie, and Angie passed along that he appreciates all the thoughts and prayers and support that the Niner Nation has passed along his way over the last week or so. So anyway, there's an update on that. The other couple things I had of note were, one, congratulations to Jackson and Meredith Mims, who just welcomed their second child into the world. I believe the day before yesterday, we're recording this on Wednesday, the 26th. You won't see it till later, but I believe it was yesterday that Marley Mims came into the world. Jackson, former third baseman for the Niners, and it's his family name on the indoor training facility. And then last but not least, in the news and notes item, I have it on, and maybe Coach Woody could confirm this. I have it on good authority that today is the birthday of one of our solid listeners, Feet Davis.
Sure is. Yeah.
Is that correct? Today is Feet Davis's birthday.
It is. It is. Yep. And I'm sure he'll be fired up to listen to this because he listens to every podcast and he's watching every game. So big day in the Woodard household. Yeah.
So how about that, Kevin? There's your dose of good news to start. Not that we don't always have good news, but there's a positive health update. There's a newborn, a new member of Niner Nation, and there's a birthday.
That's awesome. Yeah. Happy birthday, Feet. Appreciate you listening, man. It's awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, there's all the news and notes fit to pass on. We're going to talk a little bit about. We didn't have a chance to talk about this, guys, and who better to talk about it with than Woody. But we didn't really have a chance to sort of put a bow on the season with the Clemson regional. Obviously, the Niners made the regional final. What a weekend! Losing sucks. I mean, we all know that. But as far as a body of work that weekend, that was a pretty fun weekend. Coach, what are you going to take out of that regional?
I mean, I just thought there are so many. I thought every player in the program, every coach, every support staff member, I felt like every family member and fan, I felt like everybody just emptied the tank. I mean, that was the phrase, man, I felt like Paxton Thompson would make a pitch, or Hale Sims would make a pitch, or Austin Knight would get a hit, or Jack Dragon would make a play, or Cam Fisher would get a hit, or, it was just all of them. It was just like, man, these guys just keep emptying the tank, and, ran into a really good Tennessee team that played really well. But, our guys laid it on the line, and what a tremendous day that was, knocking off a really good Lipscomb team and then coming back the next day and beating Clemson in a really hard fought 3-2 game.
Yeah. You mentioned emptying the tank. You just had the week before, you just emptied the tank, winning 5 out of 6 in a 4-day span or something like that to win the conference tournament. Then you had to gas it up, and then you emptied it all again. It was very exciting as a fan to watch. I'm sure it was great as a coach to see in person. Talk to us a little about the week winning the conference championship and then leading up to the regional.
Yeah, I mean, we felt like for the last few weeks of the season, we had put ourselves like kind of backs up against the wall. For one reason or another. And, our team just never stopped believing. Like the guys never let up on the gas, and, they never kind of broke the bond. Everybody stayed dialed in and stayed together and believed. And I felt like sweeping Middle Tennessee that last weekend and on senior day, you could kind of feel something special kind of brewing. That's why it was so disappointing when we went to Houston and lost the first game. Before we were even in before we could even get to lunch on Wednesday, we were in the losers bracket. And, and everybody just got back to the hotel, our conference room after we lost to Louisiana Tech game 1 on Wednesday of the conference tournament. Mind you, the championship's not until Sunday, so we clearly have a long ways to go to get there. And, I just looked around the room and everybody was pissed. Everybody was mad, but nobody was defeated or down or any of that. Everybody was just mad because there was just this sense that we were a better team than that, and that we were a good enough team to play in the NCAA tournament. But we knew that none of that mattered if we didn't play well the next morning against UTSA. So it really turned into this kind of one day at a time kind of deal. I did tell the team I do, and when I do get some downtime with some friends and that sort of thing, I do like to play cards. I play poker, and Doyle Brunson passed away a few weeks before the conference championship, and I shared just a little mantra that I had seen in a video of him when he passed, where he talked about how, as a poker player, as long as you have a chip in a chair, you have a chance. And that was really the message I shared with the guys at that phase of the year. I mean, there's no, there's not really too much you can say, but for whatever reason, that just felt like the right thing to say. And you could see some head nods in the room, and they just believed. And so when the our 9 a.m. game against UTSA the next day started, the guys were ready to go. I mean, we were out the door, I think, at 5:50 a.m. to go to the field or something like that. I mean, it was dark out, and the guys were ready to go, and they played well. And then so here goes, played well against UTSA, played well against Louisiana Tech. Our next shot had to beat Middle Tennessee for a 4th and 5th time in a doubleheader in the semifinals, and gave ourselves an opportunity to play Dallas Baptist, a team that just had 10 players drafted off of their team and one of the probably top 15 teams in the country. Have to beat them, in our 6th game of the week, and dang if our guys didn't do it. And it was certainly a close game and a tight game, but to do it in, I think 5-2, pretty decisive fashion. Once we gave up the leadoff home run to start the game, it was it felt like our guys took control, and it really started with Wyatt Hudapole on the mound, and and then and then our entire offense and defense, just Colin Kramer throwing the last pitch to get the last out, on short rest, and that's what it took. And that I put watching Colin Kramer make the pitch with Cam Fisher making the catch. I put that moment with, Coach Bick coming over to me and giving me a huge hug, and then the whole coaching staff kind of like us going into like a big hug. And then we look over and our guys are dogpiling on the field. And I put that moment up with 2011, my first year coaching, watching a team beat Stanford in a super regional to go to Omaha. 2018, watching a team dogpile to beat Stetson to go to in a super regional to go to Omaha. I put that moment right there with those two as far as just my favorite moments of my coaching career. And it's just because of everything that we went through, and I wouldn't change a single thing about the 2023 season. It was just supposed to be hard, and I think it made us all better. I think it made us better as a program, and I think it's going to be something that's going to stay with us for a long, long time. And to all the players that got drafted or graduated or moved on, that's a credit to all those guys. It's a credit to all those guys for the impact that they left on our program.
Producer Brad, you wound up on that dog pile in Houston, didn't you?
I was not on the dog pile, but I did get into the field. I did get. I think I have already said this, or maybe I didn't. But I did get a very good bear hug from Mr. Fisher when we got that final out, and I mean that. Obviously, Coach, you've gone to a lot more different things, but that was a very special moment, especially in my life, just being able to be there, be on the field. And I'm glad that I took the risk and got on the airplane, because I wasn't sure what I was doing, but it was totally worth it. So,
well, I remember seeing you down there, man, and it meant a lot to see you there. And I know that others wanted to be there and couldn't. It just, it was special day for Charlotte 49er baseball. And, again, it's just something that I still, when I'm sitting around yesterday, I pull up videos from that celebration. I watch that stuff all the time.
Kevin's just glad that I didn't break any of his furniture this time.
We had a good
like that at Kevin's house. I think I broke some of his furniture celebrating, so that did not happen this time. So
we had a good watch party. It was so it was strange because everything kind of went silent, and we were just standing there like we didn't know what to do. And yeah, so yeah, but
no, it's in my hands.
you're just kind of overwhelmed. You're kind of overwhelmed with emotions, and you don't know what to do. That's the way I put it. But it was awesome. Definitely a top moment for us as fans. And then kind of you go into a regional with a good Clemson team hosting a great Tennessee team and a Lipscomb team on a hot streak. I kind of felt like we're playing with house money a little bit. We're going to make a run for it here, and we certainly did. We pushed Tennessee to the limit in a regional final.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was so great too. Just the other thing is when you win the conference championship too, is like you don't have to sweat out the selection show. I felt like even in 21, we felt like we were going to be an at-large bid. I mean, you're still leaving it up to the committee. But when you win the conference championship, I mean, that time from being on the field to, heck, I remember I was going to the showers at Rice, getting ready to change up to get ready to go to the airport. I'm texting Cass Ferguson like, "Hey Cass, we need to get those 2023s up ASAP." And he's like, "I got you." And you're just already, kind of going on to the next thing. But at the same time too, you're trying to slow things down and stay in the moment because it was special. But yeah, rolling into the regional got announced, and I was really excited just because I know, growing up in Charlotte, North Carolina, my friends and I, we used to go down to Doug Kingsmore Stadium and watch games all the time. Khalil Green was one of my favorite college baseball players that I grew up watching. Jeff Baker, just a bunch of those guys. And so I've just got a ton of respect for Clemson's history. And then, we ourselves as a coaching staff, we got a little bit of history going into Tennessee and losing in 2020 before COVID. 2021, Tennessee came over and we played really well to win 9-0. And then, we just, both of our coaching staffs, we communicate fairly frequently, and we've got a lot of respect for one another, just in kind of how we go about things in terms of recruiting and player development. And, so it was no surprise when everybody kind of came out after all of the regionals were selected and said that we were, the Clemson regional was arguably the toughest regional in the country. Like you said, you've got a 4 seed that's hot as blue blazes. And then you've got, kind of us that, we still had our chip in a chair at the table and extremely talented. And to your point, it felt like we didn't really have, we were playing with house money. And then, then you got Clemson and Tennessee that are kind of college baseball blue bloods. And so fun weekend, great atmosphere. Even the Tennessee Clemson game the night before we played, night before we played Clemson, that was an electric environment. And, it was so coming in right at
year, really.
What's that?
That game the night before was one of the games of the year between.
Yeah. That game was incredible. It's just a high level of college baseball, and that's what we talk about as a program all the time. You guys know it. It's like, what's Charlotte baseball's goal? It's to be playing on ESPN in June. And because that's the highest level, and that's when the most eyes are on college baseball. And, so I was just really proud of our guys for everything it took to get there. And look, they emptied the tank and they gave it everything they had.
Good crowd from the Niners in Clemson as well. I think there's a picture of one of the tailgates. Those of you who recognize tailgating equipment will see Jimmy Touchstone's pickaxe there in the
so cool.
And Yeah, here we go. And kind of Zach and Emily Hill and their tailgating bus, the 49er Express, kind of served as the epicenter for Niner Nation all weekend. And man, it was just really cool. We had I forgot we took a picture with Jimmy. That was nice of us. It was just a great environment. Clemson's got a great stadium. And Kevin, one thing that strikes me about that, and you and I had this discussion after we went up down there for the midweek earlier in the season, that when you go down to Clemson, just like everybody's really nice. And I don't mean like at the stadium. I mean at the stadium, but like like in stores. Like if you stop, like we stopped at a fast food joint on the way into town to pick up something before going to the game, and like we walk in this fast food restaurant, and we're the only people in there. We walk in there, and the lady behind the counter says, "Hey guys, how are you doing? What can I get you?" We're looking around like, "You're talking to us?"
Yeah, everyone was nice. But then that reminds me of when we got to the regional, we were playing Tennessee, and some Clemson fans, I don't know if you were next to me, Nick, at the time, but some Clemson fans came up to me, and this lady was like, "You guys got to beat Tennessee. We don't want to play Tennessee." I was like, "Well, you don't want to play us either." Why? And
which they did find out.
Yeah, they found out. Yeah, but ended up putting them out. So that was nice.
And I gotta say, after that, the leaving that, the stadium was just emptying out after Clemson was eliminated. I thought that the overwhelming majority of the people we talked to were very gracious, and were still imploring us to not let Tennessee win. So it was good hospitality in Clemson all the way around, all weekend. Neat downtown area. So high marks for the time in Clemson. We could talk about the Tennessee fans in the stands, but we're having a positive podcast, so I'm going to move us on. I started us off with all that positive news. I don't want to get us off on a different tangent. Coach, one thing, see how I did that, Kevin? One thing we did want to have you talk about, because we wanted to talk about the growing number of pro Niners that the program has now. This is the most, Kevin, that we've had since we've really been following this the last decade. We've had some, we've had 5 or 6 at a time, but that number is just expanding every year. You had a chance, Coach, to go with Wyatt and Cam and Jake out to the MLB Draft Combine. Talk a little bit about that. I don't know that's not an experience that a lot of people get to take in, an MLB Draft Combine. So just talk about that process and some of your experiences out there.
Yeah, no, it was, that's one of the coolest things that I've gotten to do as the head coach at Charlotte, to be honest with you. It kind of started last summer when Spencer Giesting went out to San Diego, and he got to work out there, and I was texting with him when he was out there, and I was just kind of like, man, I should be out there. I should go out there and see him work out, because that's something Coach Fox used to always do at UNC. Not go to the draft combine necessarily, but when our players, like I remember Andrew Miller, Daniel Bard, and myself pitched in the Cape League All-Star game in 2005, and then I remember Coach Fox flying up to watch that game. And then I remember, Coach Fox would always pick some big events that were, seemed to be like kind of milestone events, whether it was recruiting or those type of things, to like always make sure that he was present for. And, so I just told our staff, I felt like that's something that Coach Fox would do, is he'd get on a plane and go to Phoenix, Arizona, and just hang out. I was probably the only college coach there, to my knowledge. I didn't see, it was, all 30 MLB teams, loads of scouts, agents, families, et cetera. But I think, I just think it's important for me to be there. I think it's important. I wish our whole coaching staff would have been able to go. It's in Phoenix. It's not right next door. But I just think that's so important for us to be there for our guys when they go to that event, because, you know, I mean, you're talking about the top 300 players, top 300 prospects in the upcoming Major League Draft, and we've got 3 of them there. I mean, it's a pretty short list of schools that had that many guys there. And, you know, we're so proud of them. You know, we're so proud of Wyatt and Cam and Jake and all of our guys. But you know, we just want to make sure that I mean, got to go. I think I flew out on a Monday and got in Monday evening, and Tuesday night I got to take them all to dinner, and we went to a nice steakhouse for dinner, and that was cool. Just have that moment, the 4 of us, where we could just kind of talk shop, and I got to share some of my experiences of, you know, just a long time ago, and just kind of things I've learned along the way, and try to keep them loose going into the workouts. And then I just got to sit back and watch. You know, Wyatt didn't really do much working out, but I got to talk with him in the stands between some of his interviews, and I got to watch Cam Fisher work out, which was awesome. And then my flight had to leave before Jake's workout, got pushed back. But I think Jake's dad flew in and got to see him work out, so that was good, and got some video of that. But it's a big deal. I mean it's you know, when we sit down with players in the recruiting process, either in person or on the phone or on Zoom, and just, you know, I mean, we think Charlotte, our university and our city and our program, has a lot to sell and kind of sells itself. But, you know, we want every player that comes into our program to know that they're going to have every resource, you know, the best of the best training with coaches and Coach McKibben on the strength side, and just everything. They're going to, you know, we tell every player, like, there's 2 things we promise you when you come to Charlotte: that we're going to coach you with respect, and you'll have all the support you need. And, you know, the rest is up to you as a player to come in and do the work. And I'm just couldn't be more proud of those 3 guys. And, you know, I've kind of started a group chat with our guys on the pro side, and that's been cool, kind of seeing, you know, that list grow, and you know, guys are playing each other, and you know, or in the same leagues and that sort of thing. And then yeah, it's really cool. So proud of all those guys.
Yeah. Coach, it was a little difficult trying to follow that on TV. This is a fairly new process, right? This hadn't been going on for very long. I think last year was the first time I've really heard of it. But take us through the format for what the guys are going through on the position player side, and then on the pitching side, because they would go back and forth from guys taking BP, and then they set up a guy on the mound, and I think they were flip flopping back and forth doing that. Were the guys like going to interviews first day, or were they doing that before they take BP? How did that format work out?
Yeah, I wish I could kind of tell you the rhyme and the reason behind the setup. It seemed a little, I'm sure there was, but it was, yeah, I mean, there'd be an infield group, and then they'd clear the field for, you know, a couple pitchers to throw, and then there'd be an outfield group, and then they'd set up for BP, and then there'd be some more pitchers throwing, and then so it was just interesting, you know, and then they would only, I mean, there were some workouts going on from 8 a.m. until 5 or 6 p.m. And then I think they had a high school, like, All-American game or 2 at night with some of the top high school prospects. So, I mean, it's long days there, but the nice thing is that they had the roof closed at Chase Field. So, you know, you got the air conditioning and great climate, but, you know, I think, yeah, MLB TV only covered maybe like 2 or 3 hours per day, where, you know, in fact, it's actually running a lot longer than that. So I think it worked out where Jake's BP was actually, I think it was televised. You guys would know better. I think I was on a plane, but, you know, it just worked out that his was on, you know, for the time they decided to cover it. But yeah, I mean, it's a cool deal. I think the baseball side is mostly for the players to, like, just to get to have fun and kind of showcase our skills on an MLB field. But the main reasons that were mostly behind the event is all the guys go through medical screenings and that sort of stuff. So all the teams can get a bunch of medical information on the top 300 prospects. And then every team, like throughout the stadium, every MLB team has, you can see, like look up in the suites and see all there's each team or organization has a suite, and then basically they just run interviews all throughout the day. So I think really the interviews and the medical screenings are kind of the two big things. A few arms would throw, and it seemed like those were being more heavily evaluated. It didn't really seem like the position players were being too heavily evaluated at that event.
So, and you're right. I can't complain because MLB Network brought us some of that coverage, and we did get to see Jake hit. But when you look at the NFL Draft Combine and the way the NFL Network televises that, I mean, they've really got that. They've become the gold standard in how to cover a combine. The good news was that we got to see Jake hit. The frustrating part is they just had the center field camera on. They were not following whatever was happening.
Yeah.
And they were, I swear they were talking. I'd have to go back and prove this, but I'm pretty sure they were talking to a guy about what kind of product he uses in his hair while Jake was hitting. I'm not kidding. I mean, they were talking about something. They're filling, trust me, right, Kevin? We know about filling dead air, right? So they were filling time, but Jake was hitting, and all you could see was the ball leaving the bat, and it was like, man, it looks like Jake's hitting some laser beams. But they were putting data up on kids, mostly high school kids. The coverage was heavily tilted towards high school kids. But Jake was hitting some laser beams, and there was no data on the screen for Jake's ABs. And the next day, you read Kevin, you might be able to say whose write-up it was, but there's a write-up on MLB.com about Jake Cunningham being maybe one of the college prospects with the highest ceiling, and how he showed out at draft day or at the combine. And you're like, well, I kind of sensed he was really hitting the crap out of the ball, but you didn't show me where it landed. You didn't show me any data. But, hey, I do know what this kid from California uses in his hair. So, I said I wasn't going to complain. That sounds like I'm complaining, doesn't it? But
Coach, did you get a chance to get in that pool out there at the Diamondbacks Stadium?
I was on these a lot talking to just players and recruits and our coaching staff that was out on the trail a bunch. So there was a moment on like my probably 10th or 11th phone call where I was like, man, that pool looks good. I might go multitask a little bit, but I didn't make it in the pool. No, I didn't make it.
It probably got you on TV.
Probably would have.
Only college coach at the combine in the pool.
I missed my moment. I missed it.
Well, as we learned this week watching AAC Media Days, when your moment arrives, you have to seize it, right? And if you're out there and you haven't seen Biff Poggi at AAC Media Day, you need to go check that out. We won't discuss it here, but just go look it up. You trust me, you want to see that. But
fire us up, Coach. Fire us up.
Yeah, we were sure to ask Coach Woody more than 3 questions in our interview today. So.
We've already asked him more than 3 questions. We ask him more than 3 questions before we get started. Okay, so we're all over that. Yeah. So moving on to actual draft day, the 3-day process. Niners saw 4 more guys selected. Wyatt Hudapole with the 4th round to the Mets. Cam Fisher also 4th round to the Astros. Jake Cunningham going in the 5th round to the Orioles. and Danye Evans going in the 16th round of the Tigers. So there's 4 more Pro Niners, we plus some signings and maybe still some potential signings as free agents added to the mix. And all of a sudden, the Pro Niners list is it's getting pretty extensive, Coach.
Yeah, no, just so happy for those guys, and I mean, you want all of your eligible guys to go, because I think, I believe we've got some guys that weren't picked that belong, and I hope they get some chances here in the coming weeks. But those 4 guys, yeah, super happy for. And, the great thing is too, and I was telling somebody this the other day, is like, it feels like 1, our guys are all getting really competitive deals. They're signing for really competitive deals, which I'm so proud of, because they deserve it. And then 2, on top of that, the guys that in the last few years that have signed from us, they're playing great. I mean, our guys are, they're performing at the levels that they're in, and they're getting promoted, and generally staying healthy. And I think in the coming year or 2, I think we're going to have some big league call-ups, and I think we're going to have some MLB debuts. And I've only got to be a part of a couple of major league debuts, but that, you want to talk about something cool, like that is one of the coolest things to be a part of. And we've got some guys that are getting close, and I told them in the group chat, I'm like, yeah, you can't get called up till July or August. Sorry, like, you're not allowed to get called up in April, May, or June until our season's done.
That's an automatic flight booked, right?
Yeah, like that's. I mean, I'm serious. Like, I'm gonna be happy, but like, I want our whole staff to be there for whenever, the Bryce McGowans, the David McCabe's, the Nate Furmans, the Spencer Giesings, the Aaron McKeithans, whenever those guys, I'm leaving guys out, whenever those guys get called up, they just mean so much to our program, and we're all so proud of them.
Coach, I know you probably heard from all the guys on draft day. Anything you can share about the draft day experience from those guys that they communicated with you, or something cool from draft day that you could share?
This year, guys were pretty spread out. I know a bunch of guys went over here in Charlotte to Jake's family's home. I think Firm and McCabe might have even surprised them, which was pretty awesome. But a bunch of guys went over to see Jake. I think Wyatt might have been back in Cincinnati. Danye was back home, and I talked to Danye just a couple of rounds before he got picked, just to check in with him and see how he was doing, and he was doing great. And I had heard a bunch of teams were getting close to taking him, so that was exciting. That's kind of the I don't know. It's interesting. It's like it's all these bittersweet moments of being like so happy, and also it's like, man, I don't get to coach him anymore. But again, it's those are the good problems to have.
That's right.
Go ahead, Kevin.
No, well, I'm sure you're in communication with them all the time, Coach. I'm assuming they're all in Florida or in the team sites getting ready to be assigned, or kind of going through the intro stuff.
I think so. Yeah, they usually get flown out. I think Wyatt got to go to Citi Field. I think Cam got to go to Minute Maid. I think Jake went and worked out in Baltimore and got to sign in Baltimore. I think Danye might have got to go up to Detroit. I'm not 100% sure. But then usually from there, once they sign them at those locations, they usually get sent to the spring training complex, and that's where they go through a bunch, some more physicals and some more just kind of logistical onboarding stuff. And, and that's where they start making room for them. And that's when guys at some levels above them start getting released. And, these guys start getting put on teams to start their careers.
Didn't happen fast enough for us, Coach. Delmarva Shorebirds, single A affiliate for Baltimore Orioles, are in Kannapolis this week. So Jake has not been onboarded yet. So he's, for all I know, he's down at the complex in rookie ball or something. But hoping the Fayetteville, the Woodpeckers Astros affiliate, comes back through Kannapolis next month in August. So maybe they'll have Cam Fisher with them. That would be pretty cool.
We do have a bunch of East Coast guys in this draft, and that's cool.
Yeah. You're talking about, you mentioned the way you're talking to recruits and the process that you want them to see them go through and resulting in getting picked. Pretty impressive story you've got here, just looking at the list. And you've got a little bit of everything. You got 4 draft picks. In Jake Cunningham, you got a local high school kid that when he got here was clearly talented, but a skinny rail of an outfielder, and he's transformed into a mountain of a man with more room to grow. 4th round pick, so local high school product that developed here at Charlotte. And in Cam Fisher, you've got a JUCO product that you brought in, and he came back to school.
Started at Power 5, redshirted, didn't play.
Started at Power 5, goes JUCO, comes here, spends 2 years with you. Now he's 4th round pick. And then in Wyatt and Danye, you've got P5 transfers that needed an opportunity to play and develop and grow. And now they're draft picks as well. So that's nearly everything you're doing. The high school product, the JUCO product, the transfer product.
Yeah. Well, I think it just says a lot about the quality of people that are choosing to come to the program, that are being recruited to come to the program, by Coach Big, Coach Sieb, and our staff. And then, you look at, Michael O in his first year as a pitching coordinator, helping Wyatt do what he did and Danye do what he did. And, Eric McKibben, who is one of the best strength coaches in the country. And we've been pretty balanced every draft with position players and pitchers. It's kind of, it's not really one more lopsided than the other, I would say. And I think that's just a credit to Eric and, what he's doing with our guys on the training and the performance side, and then just the whole coaching staff. And, but again, also can't take anything away from, the players and the families that, they could have gone to other schools. Every one of those guys had other opportunities to go to other places, and they chose to come to Charlotte and believed in the vision. And, I'll always be grateful for all the players that do that and come play for our program.
When you think about it, and we talked a little bit about at the last show, and we had a senior day. We talked about senior day, but just the amount of guys that have left their impact on this program, including these guys and the other seniors. But, just thinking about, your Austin Knight, your Jack Dragum, Paxton Thompson, Hale Sims, guys like that. But, when you start looking at Cam's, and Cam's here for 2 years. It's going to be hard in the future to talk about Charlotte baseball without using Cam as a measuring stick. Just a few of the accolades here. Tied for most home runs in program history, single season home run record. He's 3rd team All-American, 2nd team All-American, penalty he talked to. Rawlings ABCA had him 1st team All-American.
First team.
So we're talking about a guy that all these guys leave their marks in their own ways. But in softball, we just got through covering Boo Vinoy's career, where Boo literally rewrote the softball program's history book. Cam, and it's not apples to apples comparison, but Cam did a fair amount of rewriting himself. So that's worth celebrating.
I call it, I called Cam a few weeks ago when it was announced he was first team All-American, because I wanted him to hear it first and not before he saw it on social. And I called him and I said, "Hey man, I got something to tell you." And I said, I just want you to know you're a first team All-American. And I just said, I'm just so proud of you, and there's nobody more deserving. And I said, Cam, I got to be honest with you, man. You're not just one of the best baseball players to ever play. You're one of the best athletes to ever play at Charlotte. Period. I think if you go look at what he did in 2 years, and if you double that for a 4-year career, geez. But obviously that's not going to happen. But he could be back next year. Obviously, if we don't have the draft and that sort of thing, and you start thinking about what he could do in 3 or 4 years here. It's one of the best athletes to ever play at Charlotte, any sport, all time. And I wanted to make sure he knew that, and he left a legacy, and we all love him to death, love the Fisher fam to death.
Yeah, that's kind of the other side of it that Kevin and I and producer Brad, we talk about, we think about, not that this doesn't impact you, because it does, but we talk about your side of the netting and our side of the netting, and we're all these great players, but on our side of the netting, all these great families. That we're not gonna. I think we'll see. Heck, I saw. I think Brian Geesting was at the Hayes at least twice this season. But it's going to be different. They're not going to be there. All the different families won't be in the stands with us, and the Cunninghams and the Knights and the Dragons and Lord help us, Chip Fisher. We're going to have to think. We're going to have to trick Chip Fisher into coming back to Hayes and hanging out with us.
Chip made a lasting impression on my son down in Columbia.
Yes, he did.
He still talks about it once a week at least.
Yeah. The list goes on. The Sims family, and we just get to know all these great families, and that's what's so cool about what we do, is getting to see them. All right, well, Coach, we promised you we would get you off to the rest of your evening. We're going to talk a little minor league baseball here for the remainder of the hour, but we'll let you get back to doing your summertime thing, and go call Feet and wish him a happy birthday or something.
I'm going to. So I was texting with him earlier. I'm going to go give him a call here, and just man, it's awesome seeing you guys and talking baseball again. So we'll, next time we'll be talking baseball. We'll be talking about the new team, and I think people are going to be really excited about it. We've got a special group coming in.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun, and that's going to be. We'll come back. We'll come back in a month and start talking about 2024. My gosh, it's already
the 19th. The 19th they come back to campus.
Yeah,
August 19th.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it'll be here soon.
Yeah. Yep. So we'll come back in a month and talk about this next Niners team that we get to watch next season.
Yeah. Well, y'all tell the fams hey for me, and appreciate y'all covering and talking shop. It's been fun reminiscing about the 23 run. It was special.
Yeah, man, we appreciate your time, Coach. We'll catch you on the flip side.
All right, guys. Go Niners. See y'all.
All right, good night, Coach. Oh man, talking about all the guys and the families, starting to get a little misty eyed here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
here in the home office. What's up with that?
That's what it's. Yeah, bittersweet stuff, man. You know, it's always bittersweet time, senior day and then draft day and all that, and you realize you're so happy for the families, but you're also kind of sad that you're not gonna see them as much in the future. But yeah, we'll keep in touch with a lot of families.
Yeah, great thing about this. So if you aren't aware already, go and bookmark like DiamondNinerReport.com. All this stuff that we talk about with summer baseball and minor league baseball and the pro Niners, we keep all that stuff cataloged there and try to keep it up to date. There's a whole page listing all the pro guys, and we do our best to keep that up to date as far as what level they're at. But all there, as soon as they have bios, if you go to DiamondNinerReport.com, look on the Pro Niners page, if you look on the left-hand side, their name is a link to their pro page. So you can get access to their stats and find out whatever you want to. But we do keep a list there. The hardest part, and Kevin will tell you this, the hardest part to keep up to date is what level they're at, because we list that as a column on the website. Bryce McGowan has pitched for 5 different teams with the Rockies. He has pitched for this season, 2023. He's pitched for he pitched in the complex league for rookie ball. He's been in A, high A, double A, and triple A. He's been all of that just in 2023. So, what level is Bryce McGowan at right now? He's at double A right now, but I checked that. I last checked that, Kevin, before we started recording this. So he may have been moved to a different roster since we started talking.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he and Josh were up and down double A, triple A for a couple weeks there, filling in here and there where they need arms. But it's kind of hectic. Even more hectic is the summer ball stuff. We're still trying to keep track of those guys as well. We've got a base there with our page. It has a good chunk of the guys, but we still got a couple to add that just came to mind. We also have the recruiting page that we keep up to date with guys that have committed to the program. I think we've got our 23 class and the 24 class just starting. So check out that page. We try to keep it updated as much as possible. It's nothing fancy, but it'll get you information you're looking for.
It will do the job. Absolutely. Before we talk about these guys in the minors, one thing that's been a little lighter this year, Kevin's been summer ball. The guys have been a little more far flung playing summer ball, and that's kind of starting to wind down. The summer wood bat leagues. I know that we've got several new incoming guys playing in the CPL. Brandon Stallman's up at the Cape. We've had some guys all over the place. Usually we make, and if you follow us on Twitter, you see this. Usually there's a couple of summer ball trips over the summer. Only one of those happened this summer. Kevin was in, I think you were in Myrtle Beach for a travel ball tournament. And my wife and I went up and we went up to High Point to see Drew Tyndall play for the High Point Hush Puppies. And he didn't get put in the lineup that day. Drew had played every game for the High Point Hush Puppies up until that game, that day. And they set him. So we did not get to see Drew Tyndall play that day, but we got to hang out with his folks and break bread and have a good time. So it was certainly not a wasted trip, but yeah, Kevin haven't really seen any summer ball this summer.
Well, the cool thing now is that the Cape has all their games on YouTube. So I checked out Hobson was up there, and Langhorne was up there at with where was it? The Anglers, Chatham.
Yeah.
And now Stallman, I watched Stallman one of the games that he was playing, and he just happened to catch an at bat. He laid down a sacrifice bunt, which was pretty exciting. But anyway, yeah, and my son plays for the Concord Athletics travel team, so our team is responsible for working one of the SCBL games. We actually worked two. We worked two this year, so I saw a couple of incoming Niners on one. But Jackson Boss was coaching, assistant coach for the Carolina Regulators. So got to chat with him a little bit on the summer ball SCBL circuit, and yeah, so we haven't had a chance to make our trip like we did to Forest City or to High Point.
Mooresville. Mooresville's always usually hit.
Well, that's still in play. They're in their playoffs are going on right now. We could make a trip to Mooresville.
Who do we say we needed to see? Who is Spencer Nolan's playing in the SCBL and
Copperheads. He's with the Copperheads, and a couple of incoming guys were with the Regulators, I believe. So
AJ Bianchina is an incomer, I think, coming and playing with the Regulators.
There were two or three.
Yeah, there was somebody else at least. So anyway, maybe we can make that happen still. If the SCBL is still there in their playoffs, maybe we can make that happen, because Mooresville. That I will say this, and that this is not a slight, but the SCBL can be a mixed bag of they're renting high school fields to play at for the most part. But if you go up to Mooresville, and just outside of downtown Mooresville, they have like a municipal park with a concession stand and restrooms, and for those of you who are so inclined, beer sales, and it's pretty good place to watch a summer baseball game. Collegiate Wood Bat League. So maybe go check more. We need to look at the schedule. Maybe we need a trip to Mooresville. That's not too far away.
It could be a last minute thing.
Could be a last minute thing. We'll report back next month and tell you what happened. So looking at our list, really what's and I want to start, Kevin. Let's go back in time and work our way forward here as far as draft class year.
I told producer Brad we go in order, but we start at the bottom, producer Brad, I guess.
Oh, did I miss you? You know what? I tell you what. Forget that, Kevin. Let's do it the way we told producer Brad. I apologize. I didn't realize you told him that. Let's do it the way you told producer Brad.
There we go. All right.
So you got David McCabe up on the screen. So you want us to talk about producer Brad?
Yeah, let's talk about David McCabe. We got to see David. We saw him. He was on our show. He was on our show a couple shows ago. He was with Augusta at the time. Got promoted up to Rome High A. So he's still tearing it up in the High A for Rome. He's batting 286, 14 homers, 51 ribbies already this year, and he may be getting called. He may be getting called a double A. Who knows? He's still on fire. So glad we got a chance to see him when he was in Kannapolis earlier in the season.
Yeah. So I think, and if you look at David's splits, David's trending in the right direction. He's actually outbatting. He's actually now outperforming what he was doing in low A, in high A. I think he makes it to double A this summer. I think that's a high probability.
They are in Asheville right now. They're in Asheville right now.
You know, last night we're told that we're going to talk about Aaron McKeithen. Aaron's injured and is rehabbing. I believe it was hand injury, rehabbing a hand injury, and was at home visiting home in Asheville. And David, the Rome Braves were in Asheville playing the Asheville Tourists, and Aaron McKeithen was in the stands last night. to take it one step further, tonight, David was playing against Nolan DeVos, which longtime Niners know Nolan from his father Dan and mom Amy, and Nolan played at Davidson collegiately, which we begrudgingly talk about that, but played at Davidson and is in the Astros organization. So up there in Asheville tonight, you had Nolan DeVos pitching to Big Maple. Yeah. So we'll have to find out what the results were on that. But Big Maple's up in Asheville this week.
I believe he may be in Hickory before the season's over as well.
I think you're right.
And in Greenville as well. So may try to go see him if we can, but we'll see how it goes with school starting back up.
If he gets to Double-A with the way the Braves, the way the leagues are aligned, the organization's aligned, if he gets to Double-A, your next best chance to see it's going to be when he comes to Charlotte with Triple-A.
Right.
Because the Double-A league is pretty. It's sort of mid-south. So see Big Maple if you can, because that'd be your best chance. And so now producer Brad wants us to talk about Nate Furman.
Speaking of getting to see him play.
Speaking of getting to see him play, Nate Furman got called up days before coming to Kannapolis.
Yeah, he did.
It was at all.
Yeah, it was disappointing, but he was playing too well to he was tearing up the Carolina League. He had to get called up, and he did, and he's doing good. He's still doing good. He's not on the hot pace that he was in the Carolina League, but he's still getting on base, and he's doing his thing up there in Lake County Captains. Is that the Midwest League?
Yeah. Yeah. Which is right outside. He's about 45 minutes outside of Cleveland, basically. So it's, we're just speculating here. Nate's probably going to finish out the year in high A if I had to guess, but the organization loves him. Nate's gonna keep climbing the ladder, whether it's the remainder of this year, next, what have you. But Nate's a grinder. Guess what? Their Twitter accounts tweets about how often he gets on base. Who saw that coming? Which, by the way, all the Braves accounts refer to David as Big Maple.
I think they even had a meme about it.
Yeah.
In Augusta.
Yeah.
You just got Big Mapled.
You just got Big Mapled. Yeah. And then what was what they call him the other night? What they call David the other night? McBang.
McBang.
Did you see that one? They called him McBang.
McCabe McBangs. Yeah.
Yeah. Big Maple. All right, producer Brad.
Goose. There's Spencer Geesting. He's been in Hillsboro, high A for the Diamondbacks all year. 16 starts. He's a regular starter for the Hops. He's got 68 innings pitched this year, 75 Ks, 4.63 ERA, and his WHIP 1.68. Had a 7-inning. I think his longest start of the season. His past start was he went 7 innings. I think 300 runs in the last start. So definitely building up Goose as the season progressed.
I think his last outing has been his best from a statistical standpoint, looking at it. But Goose, he's doing, and of course they're all in on Goose memes and puns as well there with their social media team. So
yeah, he's out on the West Coast, so it's sometimes late night. I got the MLB package. I click on the minor leagues. You can check out Goose pitching. So caught a few of his outings, which has been nice.
Yeah, stay up late and check out a Spencer Geesting outing. All right, let's see what. Moving on.
Same thing with Quint Q. He's out there. High A for the Angels. He is The Inland Empire 66ers. And I think that jersey he's got on there was like a
I was gonna say, yeah, the Cherubs.
special promotional night for them, but they used UQ as a model. You can see why, I guess. He's a handsome man. He's made 24 appearances, relief appearances. What's that?
It's not weird.
Not weird. No. 24 relief appearances. He usually pitches 2 or 3 times a week in relief. He's got 44 Ks and 37.2 innings pitched, 2 saves on the season, 1.17 WHIP. Yeah, he's out on the West Coast too, so try to catch a game with his starter with the relievers, so you never know when they're going to come in. But
yeah,
he's doing good. He's quality reliever lefty out of the pen for him.
I think we got Bryce McGowan next.
Yeah, McGowan. Yeah, you mentioned he played for all 5 affiliates this year. He started out in Fresno. I think he went to Spokane Indians next. Then he went straight up to the AAA, the Albuquerque Isotopes. And then I think he made an appearance or 2 for them, and then went to AA Hartford, which has brought him back to the East Coast, which is good. He's on the East Coast time now with the Hartford Yard Goats. He's doing well. Him and Josh Maciejewski pitched in the same game last week.
That was
Josh, we'll talk about him later. He's in Somerset with the Yankees organization. But, yeah, it's hard to believe. I wonder if he gets to keep a hat, every hat that he gets. Does he get to keep it as he goes up?
I would hope so. I was just thinking, disagree with me if you want, although I don't think this is that controversial, but I think the Hartford Yard Goats is one of the best caps in the minors. There's a lot of good ones. There's some really bad ones, but I don't know. I like the Hartford Yard Goats.
I was thinking of this. I was thinking of making a poll about some of our guys, what teams they're on, which has the best logo. Because it was very tempting to buy Hartford Yard Goats memorabilia or apparel when Bryce McGowan made their roster. I tell you, the Hillsboro Hops is pretty cool too. I like they got the navy, the light blue, and the green, the lime green going. So
I'm going to get the town wrong. The Rough Riders in Texas, Frisco, the Frisco Rough Riders. That's a solid cap.
No. Is that Frisco? Yeah, maybe it is. Yeah.
That's a solid cap.
Yeah.
But that Hartford Yard Goats cap it's a good cap. I like it.
Yeah.
If I were affiliated, if I were sent there and then sent somewhere else, up or down, I would leave with the cap.
The Green Jackets is solid also. I did see that.
There you go.
I saw Big Firm played for the Lake County. Their Picantes last night. Well, they had a red jersey. It's pretty cool looking, but there's the Yard Goats. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. I
would totally rock a Yard Goats cap.
And they have the colors of the Hartford Whalers, former hockey team, NHL team that moved to Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah, that's a great cap all day long. Well, I would totally wear that. All right. Now that we're off on that. One thing I will say is cool. One thing I will say though about the uniforms, the Rome Braves are very boring because they don't have their own unique name, but they use the Braves uniforms. So, like when David's playing at home in Rome, he's wearing a Braves uniform. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I hate to keep going down this rabbit hole, but they had some the Hank Aaron era throwbacks on the other day. They were auctioning off, I'm gonna try to get one online, the Big Maple War, but they only had you had to be there. You had to be there for the auction off jerseys, but they were pretty sweet. The old Hank Aaron with the feathers on the sleeve, Braves jerseys.
Team manager Ethan Kurtz. Well, I was looking at Aaron. Ethan Kurtz was down in Rome recently to see David play. I don't know if that's when he was down there or not. But if the jerseys were going to be auctioned off, mine would get lost. My Hank Aaron throwback Rome Braves jersey, I lost it. It's just how I roll.
Yeah.
Okay,
right.
Let's talk about Aaron McKeithen now.
Aaron McKeithen.
We'll do a whole show on uniforms and caps.
Yeah, you mentioned you did mention he's officially on the 7-day DL, but it's been a lot more than 7 days.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he had surgery. I've heard he had surgery. May not be back this year. I'm not sure, but he played in Peoria Chiefs, the Chiefs out there, and he batted .266 on the season, 5 homers, 35 ribbies. Playing a lot of DH and catcher also, but it's having a good season for the Chiefs, and that's high A as well. So that does remind me, the league that they're in, Firm and McKeithen, they're playing the Fort Wayne Tin Caps.
Mm-hmm.
Former Niner Aaron Bray is the hitting coach for the Tin Caps in the Padres organization. So he's the all-time hit leader for the Niners. So a lot of Niner connections up in the Midwest League this year.
Aaron Bray knows a thing or two about hitting.
Yeah, he's got quite a few hits in the Niner uniform.
Certainly.
All right, then we go Josh. We talked about a little bit about Josh earlier. He started on the injured list to begin the year. Went to, I think, Hudson Valley for a rehab start. Went up to Somerset, pitched there for a little bit, called up to AAA Scranton, and had a couple outings there. Back down to double A now, Somerset. He pitched against him and Bryce faced off last week. This year he's 2-1 and he's made 12 relief appearances, 2.04 ERA. Had one of his better seasons. He's got 19 Ks and 17.2 innings pitched. So he's still doing his thing up there. He's getting closer. He's getting closer to the bigs. The Yankees, I mean, they keep going up and down with the AAA, and so there's constant roster moves with those guys right
Kevin,
now. So.
as our resident Yankees fan here, I'm going to ask you, what are they waiting on? I mean,
I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what happens in the deadline. We'll see. So,
the Yankees have absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain by bringing Josh Maciejewski up. They need bullpen help, clearly. Bring that man up.
Might as well. I agree. Their offense is their problem is, but they could always use a lefty out of the pen.
Man, everybody could always use a lefty out of the pen. Make some phone calls. Why don't you're a Yankees guy. Make some phone calls, Kevin. Get that done.
Yeah, well, hopefully he'll do better than the NC State guy they have, starting the lefty they have from NC State that's pitching.
Yeah. Oh well.
All right.
Here is our most tenured pro Niner, Zach Jarrett from the 2017 class. Zach Jarrett playing for the Gastonia.
Yes, he made the All-Star. Well, he made the All-Star team for the Atlantic League, the midway point All-Star team. Got his stats right here. He's leading the Honey Hunters in homers. He's got 19 homers, 61 ribbies. He's second in batting average, batting .298 this year. Another huge season for him. I think he's got 200. They said he passed a 200 career hits mark for the Honey Hunters. a couple weeks back. And he's also got a podcast. He and Brandon Vogler, Logan Scherer, they've got a podcast called, what is it?
Ball Was Life.
Ball Was Life. That's right. It's been pretty interesting. I listened to a couple episodes. They do a good job. They had Brock Hudgens on one episode, and they had Dale Jarrett also was on one of the episodes. So it's interesting hearing a perspective from former Niners. So check it out if you get a chance. Ball Was Life. He's on the podcast. Zach Garrett and Brandon Vogler, Logan Scherer.
I think
do a great job.
Episode.
I think we should. That would be cool. That's a cool idea, Nick.
Crossover.
And last but not least, we got Reese Hampton with the Party Animals. He's on tour with Banana Ball, the Savannah Bananas. They recently came through Kannapolis and Durham, and my Facebook feed was loaded with Savannah Bananas, Party Animals stuff. They're playing in front of sellout crowds everywhere they go. They're out in California now, actually, on the Banana World Tour. Man, I tried to get tickets in Kannapolis. They were $200 on the secondary market to go see those guys. But for what it's worth, he's got the best batting average out there of the two teams, and I think he's got the most homers. So he's still tearing it up and doing the entertainment part of it as well.
I actually saw Reese single against the Bananas from outside the stadium. We were. I did not. I love Reese Hampton. I mean, I played golf with Reese Hampton in the fall baseball tournament last year. Proud of Reese Hampton. I did not get tickets to go see the Savannah Bananas. I'm admitting that right here in front of everyone.
I tried my best to get tickets, but it was just too expensive.
Well, if I knew they were selling $200, maybe I would have got them, and then I could have sold them to you
for $200. Yeah. But yeah, my son, he loves it. He'll go on and watch all these little highlights, dances they do. My nephew plays ball. He's these kids that I'm on my son's travel ball team. That's all they talk about is the Bananas, and they have. So it's a different sport than baseball. Banana ball is different. It's definitely entertaining. There's a documentary on them on ESPN Plus if you have time. I think it's called Banana Land. Watched a few episodes of that. Reese Hampton's kind of featured in a few of those, but yeah, it's awesome, man.
The one thing that they're missing out on is there needs to be a Savannah or a Banana Ball video game. I mean, it just lends perfectly to it.
Don't be surprised if that doesn't happen. So they were in Kannapolis for what, two nights, Kevin?
2 nights, yeah.
Man, we went down there. My wife and I, we walk our dog down there, downtown Kannapolis, and I was down there one of the nights. That's when I saw Reese single from outside the stadium. We were walking by and they announced Reese. I'm like, I'm gonna stop and watch this. But man, it is a traveling. So they hold everybody at the gates and then let everybody in at once. They open the gates up and it's just a free for all. The merchandise, the gear, they had a merchandise tent that was it was a 60 by 30 pop-up tent outside. You didn't even, it was just out on West Avenue in Kannapolis, and they were open all day. You did not have to go to a game. The game didn't even have to be going on. They did a pop-up merchandise store, and I did check that out. And the fact that I mean, we talk about needing better gear sold at sporting events on campus at Charlotte, like at the Hayes. The Savannah Bananas bring their own 60 by 30 pop-up gear store. and they set it up wherever they are. And so you could go shop for bananas and party animals. They had both gear all day long and during the game without even going inside the game, which was just insane. And Kevin, there were people out there. There were people in downtown Kannapolis that could not get a ticket that still came down there and were in their store, in their pop-up shop, buying gear. It's a phenomenon at this point.
It is. It's exciting. Like I said, the younger generation is all over this stuff, and we need to get Reese on the show again. Remember last time he was on our show, he was playing the ukulele.
We had that was the pandemic, right? We had Reese on here, and he played his ukulele impromptu.
That's right. Yeah, we need to get those guys back on, man. Maybe we'll do it this fall or something. Let's say once.
We're like the Simpsons. We have ideas for shows for years. Don't worry, producer Brad. We'll never run out of ideas. We'll come up with something else to talk about.
Yeah. So that's our Pro Niners, man. We could talk for hours on this stuff.
Well, I'm glad we did this because normally what will happen is we get to the end of the season and then everybody's like, oh man, we take a little break and then we don't do another show. We haven't done another show. This is basically, I guess, the end of, if you want to call it the end of season 6, believe that or not. We've done 6 whole seasons of the show. By next month, we'll be talking about next year. So that's probably season 7, episode 1, I'm guessing. Talking about the Pro Niners and what's going on with them and where they're at, unless somebody, does something major, some major highlight, we don't get a chance to talk about them because we let all that stuff between the Summer Niners and the Pro Niners and the recruiting and the incoming team and fall baseball, all that stuff. And then we do this fall show traditionally, right? And if we took the time to talk about these Pro Niners the way we've been doing the last, half hour or so, if we give them a half hour, it's going to be part of about a 3.5 hour show in the fall. And nobody wants 3.5 hours of us, not even us.
Right. I don't think I can go 3.5, but it's difficult. It's very difficult. We've hardly ever been able to. Well, first off, Woody, he likes. Once the season's over, they're already busting it for next year. And it's hard to get.
Everything is just intense.
Well, that's right. I guess right in the heat of it, right then. So I appreciate Coach coming on now. I think we're getting closer to the fall season, so things are a little bit slower, I think, for him. But kind of put a bow on this season, and that way our next show will be all the new team, the new Niners, the fall class, the fall battles. We'll talk about who's playing where. We'll get some eyes on these guys. So we'll get to see what they're doing.
It's going to be quite a show too, because we lost not only with the draft, but between the draft and graduation and everything else. We've got a lot of new guys coming in, and the position battles I think are going to be pretty intense this fall. So it would be fun to keep tabs on. But been fun. This was good. We're at about an hour, almost hour and a half. Went by like that, at least on this end, this side of the screen went by really fast. And hopefully if you've made it this far through the show, hopefully you're enjoying it. And we'll come back in August and start talking about next season, man. It's already here. So, all right, folks, that's going to do it for us. As always, if you're still with us at this point, you probably already follow us on social, but if you don't, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Diamond Niner Report, just never TikTok. Or of course, are we calling it Twitter anymore? Is it now? Is Elon?
I don't know what it's still Twitter.com, but it's an X logo. I don't know what it is.
I don't know. If Elon allows it, we'll still be there in the fall. Baseball. I don't know. So anyway, check us out on social media. Where we also find this. If you're watching this, you're on YouTube. Click subscribe. Turn on notifications so that you can get notified of new content when it comes up. You also find this on Spotify and lots of other places. So we're done here. Good night, everybody. This has been Nick, for Kevin, for producer Brad. We'll see you in about a month. Good night, everybody. Go Niners.
Go Niners.